So next up, let's take a look at the switching fundamentals. So we have already covered in the OSI and TCP/IP model that switching of the packet based on the destination MAC address, it happens at the layer 2 of the OSI model, which is the data link layer. So whenever that, because you know that the MAC address works at the data link layer of the OSI model. So when the data comes at the data link layer, the data link layer is going to decapsulate the particular frame, and it is going to decide what to do with that particular frame. So in this section, we will discuss about the switching fundamental. So as we have studied earlier, that an Ethernet frame looks something like this. So what you can do, you can look up for the Ethernet frame on the Wikipedia and you will come across this diagram. So this is how the Ethernet frame looks like. So first of all, we have the destination MAC address, then we have the source MAC address. So destination MAC address specifies where the packet has to be delivered, which is the MAC address of the next hop, if you remember the encapsulation process. And next hop, either it can be the default gateway or it can be the destination device. So you must recall that from the previous OSI model and the routing part, where we discussed about the encapsulation and decapsulation. Source MAC address is the MAC address of the sender, whichever device sends the data. That MAC address is going to be used as the source MAC address. 802.1q tag, .1q tag, that we will discuss later on. It is what we call the VLAN tag. So, and then next is the ether type field, which you know, it specifies what is being encapsulated by this Ethernet header. So this is the Ethernet header. This is the Ethernet header. Let me just draw it. So this is the Ethernet header. This is the data, and this is the Ethernet trailer. So in the Ethernet header, it is specified the destination MAC address, the source MAC address, then VLAN tag. Ether type specifies what is inside the Ethernet frame. So it could be like, it could be IPv4, it could be IPv6, it could be ARP. So ether type is used to identify what is encapsulated by the Ethernet header and trailer. Then at the end, we have the frame check sequence, the 32-bit CRC, which is used for the error detection at the data link layer. So this entire header, along with the header and trailer, the data, it is going to be known as the Ethernet frame. Then the data will come at the physical layer, and the data is going to be placed on the physical media. Now, if we talk about switching, so switching is basically forwarding of the frames. It is forwarding of the frames. Switching is forwarding of the frames based on the destination MAC address. So based on the destination MAC address, when the frame is switched from one interface to the other interface, that is what we call the switching. So switching is a process of forwarding the frames based on the destination MAC address. Okay, and whatever devices they forward the data based on the destination MAC address, they can be said of switching capable devices. So those devices can be categorized as switching capable devices. Now, switching is typically done by switches. So switches are the devices that work at the data link layer. Earlier we had a bridge. So bridge was one more device that we used to use instead of switches. So bridges we can also use, but nowadays switch is more popular technology. Then if you talk about switches, any switch, it performs total 3 functions. Majorly a switch has 3 functions to do. First function of the switch is what we call address learning. Second function is what we call the forward and filter decision. And third function of the switch is loop avoidance. So these are three functions that a switch is going to perform. Now it doesn't matter what type of switch it is, what category, what model of the switch it is. Generally a switch will perform these three functions. Now what is address learning? Let's discuss what is address learning. So what happens, let's say this is a switch and this switch is connected with the device A, device B and device C. These are the MAC addresses of these devices, A, B and C respectively. You know the exact format of the MAC address, so I'm not going to write down the 48 bits. You just have to understand the MAC address is A, MAC address is B and MAC address is C. Okay. Now let's say every device knows the MAC address of every other device. That means this device A knows the MAC address of device B and device C. You know very well. For that ARP process is used. So I'm assuming that ARP process is already done, and you know the device A is already aware of device B and device C's MAC address. Now what will happen? Let's assume that the frame is generated at device A and it is going towards device B. Okay. What will happen? The device A is going to generate the frame. It is going to place that frame on the physical media. When the physical media transmits that frame will be received on the particular switch port, the port of the switch to which this device is connected. So assuming that the device is connected to port number 1, so the frame will be received on port number 1. So a frame is received on switch port number 1 where the source MAC address of the frame is A and destination MAC address of the frame is B. So this was the frame which was generated by the device, and now the switch has received that frame. So what will happen? This switch will immediately learn the source MAC address of the frame and it will install that MAC address, that source MAC address in a table, and that table is known as the MAC address table or simply MAC table. So just like the routers, they maintain the routing table, switches, they maintain a table known as the MAC table, MAC address table. And this MAC address table is by default empty. So as soon as the frame is received on any port, the switch will immediately learn the source MAC address and it will maintain the information in a table. That table is known as the MAC address table. So it will learn that it received a frame on port number 1 from the source MAC address A. This is what we call the address learning function of the switch. Okay. So switch learns the source MAC address of the frame and it will maintain it in a table. That table is known as the MAC table. Remember, in routing, we have to use some routing protocol to exchange the route information. In switching, quite frankly, we don't have to do that. This function is already done by the switches. Okay. Now, once it has learned the source MAC address, now it will look up the destination MAC address, because based on the destination MAC address, the switch has to do the frame forwarding. So the frame forwarding process is done based on the destination MAC address. Now the destination MAC address is B, and so the switch will now look up if there is any information about how to reach to that destination MAC address in the MAC table. So as we can see, initially, since the MAC table was empty, there is no information in the MAC table regarding the destination MAC address B. So switch, if it was a router would have dropped that particular packet, but since it is a switch will not drop that frame, even though it does not know how to reach to that destination MAC address, because there is no entry in the MAC table. So first function, switch will learn the source MAC address. It will install that MAC address in the MAC table. Second, switch will look up the destination MAC address, and based on what is the destination MAC address, it will look up the MAC table again. If it finds the entry in the MAC table, it will try to forward the frame. If it does not find the entry in the MAC table, it will not drop the frame, it will flood the frame. So if the destination MAC address, now remember, destination MAC address, either it will be known, means the switch already knows about that MAC address, or it will be unknown. Unknown means switch does not know about that particular MAC address. So if the destination MAC address is known to the switch will forward the frame accordingly. But if the destination MAC address is not known to the switch, it is unknown, then the switch is going to perform something called flooding. So now what is flooding? Flooding is a process of forwarding the frame's copy. It is a process of forwarding the frame's copy out of all the interfaces, all the switch ports, except for the port where the frame was received. So switch will receive that frame. It will determine that the destination MAC address B is not available in the MAC table. So it has to perform flooding, and in flooding what happens? The destination MAC address D, the frame is going to be flooded out of all the interfaces, this interface number 2, this interface number 3, except for the interface where the frame was received. Okay, so the frame's copy will be received by C and the frame's copy will be received by D as well. Now this device will drop that frame. Why? Because the destination MAC address is not matching its own MAC address. But this device will accept that frame because the destination MAC address of the frame is matching with the MAC address of the device itself. So now device will receive the frame, it will decapsulate the frame, then let's say it is pinged, so it will give the reply. And when the reply goes from the device B to device A, the source MAC address will be B and the destination MAC address will be A. Okay, so what will happen when the frame is received on, when the frame is received on port number 3, so the device will immediately maintain the entry in the MAC table, a new entry that the MAC address B is available out of the port number 3, and now it will look up the source MAC address, and since the source MAC address is A, which is reachable out of port number 1, so the frame will return out of the specific port. This time the switch will not perform the flooding because this destination MAC address, this time it is known MAC address. Okay, so remember, switching will not perform flooding for those MAC addresses of which the entry is already there in the MAC address table. Switch will perform flooding for broadcast frame if the frame is broadcasted, or if the frame is multicasted, or if the frame is unknown unicast. Unknown unicast means the frame unicast. Unicast basically means that the destination MAC address is a unicast MAC address, but that MAC address is not yet known to the switch. So the switch is considering that MAC address as a known unicast MAC address. So the switch will perform flooding for these 3 types of frames. Okay, and respectively the process will be completed for rest of the devices, and the entries in the MAC table will be maintained till this communication is happening. Now, so this is the first responsibility of the switch. This is what we call the address learning. Now, the second responsibility of the switch is what we call filter and forwarding decision. So then, now the switch, this filter and forwarding decision function, it says that the switch will decide whether it has to forward the frame out of a certain interface or it has to drop the frame, it has to filter the frame out of the certain interface. So based on the entries in the MAC table, so this was the this MAC table is built up from the previous topology. So based on the entries in the MAC table, the switch will decide when a frame arrives, which is having the source MAC address as A and destination MAC address as B. The frame arrived at port number 1. Now the switch will decide that since the frame has to go to the destination MAC address B and B is available out of port number 3, so the frame will be forwarded out of the port number 3 and it will be filtered out of port number 2. So the filter and forwarding decision, it ensures that the frame is either going to be forwarded out of a certain port or it has to be filtered out of the certain port. Okay. Now, what if there are multiple switches? Let's say this is a device A, this is switch number 1, then there is switch number 2, then there is switch number 3, and then there is device B, A, B. Meanwhile, let's also consider there are a few more devices like C, like there is D, there is E, there are more devices, let's say, something like this. This is port number 1, port number 2, port number 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, whatever, it doesn't matter. You can connect the device to any port. Now, let's say the device has sent the data from A to B. Let's say that the device is sending the data from A to B and there is no entry in the MAC table of any switch. So this is the MAC table of switch A, this is the MAC table of switch B, and this is the MAC table of switch 3 also, like the third switch. So what will happen when the device sends the frame? The frame will be received by port number 1. So port number 1 received the frame with the source MAC address A. So that entry will be maintained in the MAC table. Then the destination MAC address B is not available onto the MAC table of the switch. So the switch will perform flooding. That means it will send one copy here and one copy here. This copy is going to be discarded because the destination MAC address is not matching with the receiver's MAC address. Now, whichever copy was received onto this particular port, the switch will immediately do the function of address learning and switch will maintain the MAC address information in the MAC table. Then it will also look up the destination MAC address B, which is again not available. The destination MAC address B is not available in the MAC address table of the switch 2 as well. So the switch will perform flooding as well for the frame. So it will flood the frame here, which will be ultimately discarded, and it will flood the frame towards the switch number 3. Now switch number 3 will receive that and it will keep the entry in the MAC table, perform the flooding, not available, and then it will send it to the neighboring device respectively. So the device number B receives the frame, decapsulates the frame, and then it will give the reply, and the reply will go from B to A. As soon as the packet is received on this port, the entry will be maintained that the device B is connected out of port number 1, so the entry is maintained. Then switch will look up the MAC table for the destination MAC address, which is A, reachable out of port number 3, so the frame is forwarded out of the port number 3 towards the switch number 2. Switch number 2 receives it, decapsulates it. Then before that, it is going to maintain, what has like 1, 2, it should be like any other number, it is 3. So it will say like 3 is it has received the frame from the source MAC address B, destination MAC address A is available out of the port number 2, then send it again. And then switch 1 will receive that, it will maintain the entry in the MAC table of the MAC address B, and the frame is forwarded towards the destination. So this is how the switch will learn the MAC address in between multiple switches. Okay. Same will happen for A to E or A to D or any other device. So remember that a single port might learn more than one MAC address if required. It's not a limit, it's not a mandatory condition that a switch port will always learn a single MAC address. It can also learn multiple MAC addresses. Okay. And the last function is the loop avoidance. So sometimes what happens when we connect two or more switches with redundant cables, like this is switch number 1, this is switch number 2, this is port number, let's say 1, port number 2, this is port number 3, this is port number 4. Sometimes what happens when we connect the switches with redundant cables like this and this. So what might happen that you send the data from device A to device B, and that the data was sent out of the port number 1, it was received on port number 3, and the switch 2 decides to send the data back to switch number 1 from the redundant link. And this will cause a switching loop in the network where the frame will keep rotating for an indefinite time period. Remember, in switches, in Ethernet header, we don't have any TTL field. So if a loop occurs, the loop will occur for undefined time period. So that shouldn't happen. That should not happen. So for the loop avoidance, we have a built-in feature in the switches, that is what we call the STP, spanning tree protocol. It will be discussed later on in quite detail, but STP is a protocol that is used for the loop avoidance in the switches. So these are three functions of the switch.